going to go through the learning targets from activity 12, so 12.3 and 12.4 before we do the quiz. So we're going to look at an equation that's written in standard form. So 4x plus 5y equals negative 50. And let's convert this to slope-intercept form. So we want this to look like y equals mx plus b. So we want to solve for y. Y is all alone here. So I want to get this 5y alone first. So in order to do that, let's subtract 4x from both sides. So 5y equals negative 4x minus 50. Divide everything by 5 because that's the coefficient of y, the number out in front. That's the opposite of multiplication. So I get y equals negative 4 over 5x stays like that. Negative 50 divided by 5 is 10. So this would be my final answer. All right, let's try one more. 2x plus y equals 8. Same thing, we want to convert this to slope-intercept form, so we want to solve for y. So what would our first step be here? We want to move this 2x to the other side. It's positive, so the opposite is to subtract 2x. Subtract 2x, that cancels. Y equals, I want to write my negative 2x first, then my plus 8. Those are unlike terms, so don't combine them together. And that would be my final answer. It looks like y equals mx plus b. All right, for our next learning target, we have a story problem here. You can go ahead and read it. We are going to write the equation in standard form. That's what the directions say. We have roses, which we're going to use an X for. Or you could use an R if you wanted to. We have tulips that we're going to use a Y for. That costs $9. And she has $68 to spend. So we need to write this as AX plus BY equals C. So here's our A with our X, so 1250X plus 9Y equals our total amount of money, which is 68. Describe the relationship among the slopes of parallel lines and perpendicular lines. So we know that the slopes of parallel lines are the same. Always the same. So if I have a slope of 1/4, can you give me the slope parallel to that? It's also going to be 1/4. Good. If I have a slope of -9, what's the slope parallel to that? Also -9. Perfect. The slopes of perpendicular lines are opposite. What does that mean? Opposite signs. So one is a positive, one's a negative. Reciprocals, which means I need to flip my fraction. The numerator and the denominator switch places. So if I give you a slope of -5, could you give me the slope perpendicular to that? So if this one's negative, my new slope has to be a positive. And remember, all integers or whole numbers can be divided by 1. So on a quiz or your homework, make it a fraction and put a 1 underneath if that's going to help you. And now let's flip these numerators and denominators. So 1 is now in the numerator on top, 5 is in the denominator or on the bottom. Okay, let's try one more. If I give you 1/2, can you give me the slope perpendicular to that? So if this one's positive, the new one has to be negative. Flip it, 2/1. Which some of you might have just written that as a -2. Either way is acceptable. Either answer is correct. And then in 12.4, we also were looking at writing an equation of a line that contains a given point, either a point x1, y1, or the y-intercept, and is parallel or perpendicular to a line given. So we're going to write an equation of a line parallel to y equals -2/3 x plus 5. And it passes through the point -6/12. Okay, so I'm going to tell you that you're going to write this in point slope form because this is your point x1, y1. So can you tell me what your m is or what your slope is? So what's the slope here of the line given? It's -2/3. So for parallel, we have to be the exact same. And then use your notes for point slope. Y minus y1, which is 12, equals m, my slope, parentheses, x minus x1, which is -6, minus a negative, two negatives make a plus. So it's going to become a +6. Okay. So here, we're going to write an equation of a line perpendicular to y equals 5/8x plus 11. and it passes through 0, -7. So this is our y-intercept, also known as our b-value. So you are going to use slope-intercept form for this one, which is y equals mx plus b. So you might want to find out what your m is first. So my slope here given is 5/8. So my new slope has to be negative, and then flip it. So 8 moves upstairs, 5 moves downstairs. So now y equals -8/5x. And remember, I don't need this 11. That was given. I need my new y-intercept, my new b value, which is minus or -7. And this would be my final answer. Okay? So use this to help you on your quiz.